Xbox On. Welcome to Xbox On, a podcast with one host about one console, Xbox. I'm said host Jesse DeRosa, and on today's episode, we'll be talking about the latest Xbox news for the week of January 16th, 2025, including Xbox have officially announced a Developer Direct presentation for this month, and we now think we know what they'll be showing. Rumor has it that an Oblivion remake is on the way. Could Gears of War and Halo be coming to Nintendo Switch 2 and PS5 in 2025? All this and more. This week in Xbox history, in the year 2009, 16 years ago, Lord of the Rings Conquest was released for the Xbox 360 in Europe. I think it was already out in the US like half a week or so beforehand. Who really knows? But the Europeans had access to Lord of the Rings Conquest on this week in Xbox history. And what a game it is. Hot take. I know this is a hot take. I like Lord of the Rings Conquest more than I like Star Wars Battlefront. I don't know why. Listen, I like them both. I don't think it's wrong to like one more than the other. I don't think Star Wars Battlefront fans are any worse off for saying. I don't know what it was. That Lord of the Rings Conquest demo that was free demo on Xbox 360. That legendary demo because it was available in the early years of the Xbox 360. Well, actually, I guess 2009. I don't know why I remember it feeling like it was like 2007. I don't know. Anyway, but the demo was free, obviously, because it's a demo, but it allowed you to play 2 of the maps online. So if you had Xbox Live, you didn't need to buy Lord of the Rings Conquest. You just needed Xbox Live, and then you could play this game. Of course, you didn't get all the content, but you got to understand it. In a world before battle passes and what is it that they used to sell in the early Xbox One years? Everyone was always flipping out about. It was what do you call it? I don't know. Season passes, then battle passes, and of course, all microtransactions out the S. This is the quaint year 2009 where the most a game could have is a couple of microtransactions, and they were usually pretty tasteful, like a map pack for Call of Duty or something to that effect, or horse armor for Oblivion. But anyway, I don't know, man. There's something about this demo where it was like, this was free to play gaming for my generation. When I was a broke ass middle schooler who couldn't afford to buy a new game, playing the Lord of the Rings Conquest demo on my Xbox 360 what was to me what I guess like Fortnite is to kids today. So I don't know. I have very fond memories of playing Lord of the Rings Conquest, the demo. And then I remember years later, my brother picked it up at GameStop. We got it used for dirt cheap. And I remember finally getting access to the other maps in the game and playing that other content that obviously wasn't locked behind the game, that's included on the game rather, not just the demo. And I remember going, wow, the maps on the demo are kind of like the best that this game has to offer. I feel like the actual content on the game isn't as good as the demo, honestly. And then that was it. But I have very warm, fuzzy, fond memories of hopping on Xbox with my buddies to play the free demo of Lord of the Rings Conquest in 2009. Anyway, guys, welcome to Xbox On, the podcast, the movie, the video game. HD Hobbs, that's High Definition Hobbs, writes in and says, wasn't really paying attention, but I think that Jesse just announced last week his new co-host will be Andrew WK. Have a great week, you two. Yes, that is true, actually. Peels off face mask. It is Andrew WK. Real Jesse is actually currently at Epcot crying in the men's bathroom because they no longer serve the cheesecake brownie that he used to get all the time as a youngling at the Boardwalk Bakery, which is now called the Boardwalk Deli for unknown reasons. Yes, I, Andrew WK, am here to host your Xbox podcast today. Today we got a great lineup. I'm going to do a fucking backflip on this kid's roof, and his cat is here sleeping in the corner, and she's pretty fucking cute, so that's good. And we're glad to have you all here. Let's kick off this week with some notable game releases. You guys, Tales of Grace's F remaster. January 17th, so this Friday, $40, smart delivery, Xbox Series S and X optimized. I just want to say, listen, no shade to the Tales of series. If there was any JRPG, like classic JRPG series, I was going to like force myself to get into, force myself to get into, Dragon Quest, Final Fantasy, whatever. The Tales of series is the one that's always spoken to me the most. In fact, recently I purchased Tales of Symphonia remastered on Xbox because it was on sale for like $10, and I used to really like that game as a kid. I had it on Nintendo GameCube. And so I do hope that one day I can get back to that game and play that again. So I have no beef with the Tales of series, but I do just want to say, if the best you're putting out this week is Tales of Grace's F remastered, then that's how you know it's a slow time of year for game releases. But that's okay. We still have plenty of games to play. And if you are someone who's looking forward to Tales of Grace's F remastered, well, you're in luck. It's a Japanese role-playing game, so you got fucking 2,000 hours worth of content to dig into here. So enjoy that while you make fucking I don't know, while you make California rolls and pretend to be cultured because you're fucking weeb. So anyway, that's what's coming out this week. You guys, we're mostly back into the normal run of show. We don't really have small news this week. We're just going to basically do the opening news and the main news and leave it at that. But for the most part, the show's kind of back to normal. We're back into our normal run of things now that we're really settled into the new year. But that being said, for the first time in a while, we have a update story, a story that is a direct update from something we discussed last week. And I wish you were under better circumstances, because not only is this bad news because it's a game cancellation, but even worse so, it's a fucking game I wanted so bad. I wanted this game to be real so bad. Anyway, VGC relays that footage of the now canceled Transformers Reactivate video game have appeared online. The gameplay appeared online following the news last week that Transformers Reactivate had been canceled by developer Splash Damage last week, and we know that the game was canceled, the developers suffering some layoffs, so unfortunately that's something we already knew that happened last week, but now we're getting salt in the wound, where we're getting footage of this game released online, and, if you choose to seek it out, I found it on Twitter, looks like it got leaked by this Twitter user, DPZ Luna. I don't know why the fuck anyone has the names they do online, but anyway, just keep in mind this is like alpha footage, so there's like models that aren't loaded into the game. The graphics are a little rough, and there's all kinds of obviously this is a work in progress. This is something that is not even remotely meant to be seen by the public. So if you seek out this footage, just know, of course, it doesn't look phenomenal from a presentation standpoint because it's not supposed to be for the public to see. But that being said, there's enough here that I am severely depressed because, well, I don't want any game to be canceled. That's just unfortunate. People's passion and their creative effort goes into this product that will never see the light of day. That's unfortunate. That's sad. And of course, more so, the fact that people are going to lose their jobs as a result of this project being canceled is even more devastating. But if we're purely talking about the game, this one especially hits home because I fucking love Transformers, and I feel like everyone has one of those franchises that they're a fan of, where it's just like, this franchise gets no fucking respect. And I feel like for me, I don't know. It's like Hot Wheels and Transformers. I like cars. I like things that go fast. I like vroom. I like action. I like nonsense. I mean, maybe that's why I like Sonic the Hedgehog so much. But I've always loved like fucking Hot Wheels and monster trucks and Transformers and robots that clash into other robots, but they're also sports cars. But they're also trucks. It's like I'm a fucking like monkey brain for this kind of shit. I always have been. I've always loved Transformers. But Transformers is my like classic American franchise that just like, I love it. And I realize it never gets the respect it deserves. It never gets treated properly. And what I mean by the respect it deserves isn't that the audiences don't appreciate Transformers. I don't care about that. I'm talking about the creative entities that have ownership and get creative license to use this IP almost never do it justice. I mean, the Transformers movies are a fucking roller coaster of ranging from awful but so bad it's good to like that wasn't terrible. I love all the Transformers movies, especially some of the newer ones and some of the older ones, but like they're not good movies. Really you could only argue that Bumblebee was good and that's about it. But yeah, I mean, the animated show they haven't had a good version of the animated show in a long time. I'm not going to read the Transformers comics. I've never read the Transformers comics. I'm not here to pretend like I'm a fan of the comics. The games haven't been good in God knows how long. We had those ones on the Xbox 360, the War for Cybertron and everything that everyone loves, but that was like a fluke, like other than that, there are no good Transformers games. And it's like, come the fuck on, man. Like Dude, they are robots that have guns for hands that turn into fucking Ford Mustangs and Chevy Camaros and Volkswagens and semi-trucks and fucking fighter jets and all this shit. How can you not make something insanely... I mean, like, dude, I mean, it's so frustrating because Transformers as a concept is like the lowest bar possible. It's like if you're trying to play Limbo with a 4-year-old and you're like, okay, he's 4 years old, he doesn't know what he's doing. I'm going to put the bar all the way up to the fucking top of the tallest skyscraper in Dubai so that this little 4-year-old who's like 2.5 feet tall has enough room to clear the fucking Limbo bar and make it across and feel like he did something fun. He did a good job. Oh, you get it. You won. Good job. Like, that's how low of a bar, that's how easy of an IP Transformers is to work with. They drive fast, they explode into each other, they shoot guns, they fly, they're robots, they're space aliens. Dude, what the fuck? How are Transformers TV shows, movies, video games not, one, abundant, and two, fucking phenomenal? Because it's just goo. Transformers is like a pop cultural IP that is equivalent to like pepperoni pizza. It's like, how is it not great all the time? And it's a little hypocritical saying that right now because thankfully, luckily, wow, we recently just got a pretty good Transformers movie with Transformers 1, the animated movie that came out last year. And that movie was pretty good, but that movie is also like, what if we did Transformers for a new generation of kids? And while I appreciate that, I'm glad it exists and it's great. Don't get me wrong, it's really great. It's like, it's still just like, it's like, where's like the really good Transformers for everyone? Where do we get the MCU Transformers? Where's that little beauty hanging out? I don't know, dude. Fuck. This is what I mean. It's like, listen, maybe too soon, maybe in poor taste. Of course, for the actual people that are involved in this and that were harmed in this and that are facing displacement and tragedy right now, of course, my heart goes out to those people. But maybe God is trying to say something with these LA fires to all these fucking, entertainment companies that's like, we don't know how to do... Dude, Universal Studios makes a dog shit Transformers ride. How? How is that not obvious how to make a good Transformers ride? They fuck it up. It sucks. Transformers movies. We got Bumblebee in 2018 was good. And there's like 75 shitty Transformers movies surrounding it. How? Animated TV shows. There's been, I think, 4 Transformers TV shows in the past, like, I don't know, since the pandemic. I think there's been like 3 or 4. There's like 2 Netflix ones, and then there's that other one that's controversial because they made one of the Transformers trans or something, which is like, shut the fuck up, who cares? And all terrible shows, all boring. I tried to watch all of them, not good. Listen, I understand it's a franchise aimed at kids. I don't have a problem with that. You guys know I have no problem consuming media that is designed for children. I mean, Sonic the Hedgehog is my spirit animal after all. But like, come the fuck on, dude. How can you not? And I guess that's a really long-winded way of saying, look at this leaked footage of this canceled game, and you can see that this is, I don't know if it would be the best thing ever, but it fucking looked like a really good Transformers game for people who grew up loving Transformers, and naturally, it got canceled. But don't worry, guys, you'll get your fucking Soulsborne 3 and Dark Ring 2 and all that. Good for you. Get the fucking parry and dodge roll mechanic, but I can't get my fucking Transformers game? Tell me how that's fair. And you expect me to believe in God after something like that happens? Long drag of cigarette. All right, welcome back to Xbox On. You guys, I'm angry, but it's going to be okay. Now, we do have we have lots of mildly amusing stories this week, which we'll just get right into. But here's the thing: is I wanna start with 2 that are kind of important, but like they're kind of developing, and it's like I just feel like there's a pretty good chance we'll have a lot more to say on both of these things next week. So I'm gonna like bring them to light right now. We're gonna talk about them briefly, and then we're gonna move on because while these are probably major news topics, it's just there's not much to be said about them immediately, right this second. So let's just kind of knock these out. So starting off with the mildly amusing stories of the week. Microsoft has made an unspecified number of layoffs across several divisions. Listen, we're getting all the bad news out of the way. I promise. There's some really exciting news this week. I promise it's good stuff. We got an Xbox showcase coming up. I promise. According to Business Insider, the cuts will impact employees in Xbox's security, sales, and gaming businesses in the Xbox makers. So Microsoft's security, sales, and gaming business. A spokesperson from the company reportedly said layoffs were small in number and didn't but didn't confirm a figure, although some sources say it was less than 1% of the total employment base. The last round of layoffs are separate from the performance-based job cuts that Microsoft made across departments last week. So, just normal shit. Just fucking biggest company ever, just telling people to kick rocks because everything's totally normal and egg prices are about to drop precipitously once we ban TikTok and Pornhub. It's okay. So naturally, of course, the bigger thing here is, people are losing their jobs. It sucks. But I'm not going to spend all of 2025 sounding like a broken record. That was the story of 2024 and somewhat 2023. And unfortunately, I don't think that's going to end anytime too soon. So I don't want to linger on it just for the sake of, it's like, it feels performative if I'm just trying to be like, guys, let's really linger on the fact that people are losing their jobs right now. It's like, yeah, it fucking sucks. And now it's like school shootings. It's like, I'm so overwhelmed with how common it is that I can't, maybe this makes me sound like a horrible person, but I can't feign enough. I don't know. My mind wasn't, my feeble human mind wasn't built to sustain this much disappointment. Let's put it that way. It's not that I don't care. It's that I can't tolerate any more of it. So to the people at Microsoft who are affected by this, of course, fucking sucks, and I'm sorry. All right, our next one, and this one I think is going to turn into a pretty fucking big story. This actually might turn into an industry changing, shocking news story. But right now we just have so little to go off of, and I don't want to speculate because I'm too dumb to really speak to this to any high degree. So I just want to acknowledge it because this is kind of crazy what's happening here. But Tencent and Ubisoft founding Guillemot family members are considering the creation of a new venture containing some Ubisoft assets, it's claimed. So Bloomberg reports that, citing people familiar with the situation, claims of the Chinese tech firm and Ubisoft founders are thinking of creating a new entity which will then move certain Ubisoft assets over to in a new attempt to boost Ubisoft's value. So the Guillemot family currently owns 14% of Ubisoft, and Tencent owns about 10%. So the report suggests that by creating this new venture, moving some of the Ubisoft IP over to it, that could allow Tencent to own a stake and create a new entity and gain more control over those IP. No final decisions have been made. These are just claims at this point. It's Bloomberg, so it's probably legit. It's probably Jason Schreier with pretty good evidence here. But it's also not clear this time what would happen with the remaining Ubisoft IP, if it would be carried over to the new theoretical venture or just abandoned. So the way I'm reading this is Ubisoft is a publicly traded company. It's kind of tanking right now. Things are really bleak for the publisher. And it sounds like Ubisoft's or the Guillemot family, who have owned and operated Ubisoft primarily forever, and Tencent, a major shareholder, are saying like, hey, let's create a new publishing arm. We'll just create a new one. It'll probably be called something really dumb like Infinite Next Level Gaming X. And that's how you'll know it's Chinese, is because it'll have a name like that. And we'll just take Assassin's Creed and we'll take Tom Clancy's name. That'll be awesome. I can't wait for Communist China to own Tom Clancy's license. That'll be so fucking awesome. And then, what else they have that people care about? Rabbids, which are basically just minions for video games. And we'll just put it under this new umbrella, and then we'll just dissolve Ubisoft, and then we'll have this new fucking brand that we can kind of hit the reset button, but maintain the fucking Assassin's Creed cow and the Far Cry cow, so that people are, whatever. So that's the implication of that is huge. I mean, Ubisoft as a brand could be a dying thing. Like, it could go away, is how I'm reading this. Assassin's Creed, Far Cry, The Division, Rainbow Six will continue on, but under some new Tencent-owned fucking umbrella publishing arm, which is kind of fucking crazy, but nothing surprising anymore. Xbox is a Nintendo developer, and China owns France, and hey, the Nintendo Switch 2 was leaked by a company that makes cases for your iPhone. So literally nothing makes sense in video games anymore. I want to quit. I want to quit this world. I want to quit this world so bad. Put me in a Transformers movie and blast me into Cybertron so I can fucking get out of this fucking virtual reality hellscape we've been spawned into. But again, I don't want to lean on this for too long, because I just feel like there's going to be a huge development on this story pretty soon, and I'm not smart enough to be able to look at this and say much more than what I just said. So out of respect for your brains and your time, I will just shut up on the matter now, and we'll move forward. And I promise you guys, we're going to get into the exciting news. 20 minutes into the podcast, and now things get fun. Okay, cool. Sad news, bad news, weird news, over. And let me try again. English, starting now. Xbox Developer Direct. Told you be back. So Xbox has confirmed its next Developer Direct live stream will take place on Thursday, January 23rd at 1 p.m. Eastern Time, the only time zone that matters. According to Microsoft, the Direct will include a visit to Compulsion Games in Montreal to learn about South of Midnight, fuck yeah, Montpellier-based Sandfall Interactive for a look at Clair Obscur Expedition 33, also fuck yeah, and id Studios in Richardson, Texas, hell yeah, for more on Doom: The Dark Ages. Dude, fuck yeah, 3 great games, or great-looking games. The live stream will also be surprised, because you might be saying, well, aren't there usually 4 games at these live stream events? Shh, shut up. Fuck you, shut up, I'm getting there. The live stream will also be visited by a surprise location to see another studio's brand new game, said the company. Brand new game. Not port, not remaster, not re-release. Brand new game, said the company. Developer Direct is Xbox's live stream format presented by the game creators themselves, offering in-depth looks at upcoming titles and who's creating them. South of Midnight, meanwhile, is an adventure game that... Oh, I meant to delete that. Ignore that. South of Midnight is a game I'm very much looking forward to. Okay, so we got that. Stop for a second. Developer Direct back in late January. No surprise there. Just like I said it would be, just like it has been for the past few years. This isn't rocket science. So a week from the day this podcast goes live, this will happen. In fact, we had to accommodate this. So what's going to happen is next week's podcast is going to have to come out on Friday, the 24th, instead of Thursday, the 23rd, because we need to accommodate this news. It makes no fucking sense to record the podcast on Wednesday and then not have all this included in it. So next week's podcast is going to be pushed back a day. I just want to use this as an opportunity to make that announcement so that we can include all of this news in there. All right, we're happy. We're okay with that. Next week on Thursday, no one's going to DM me on Twitter and be like, where's the podcast? Because I said it's delayed one day, you fucking lying bastard piece of shit. We might even have the announcement of Switch 2 by then, so that's something you can look forward to, I guess. Anyway, so just keep that in mind. So normally at these directs, though, there's 4 games. There's 4 first-party games they focus on. And then last year, for the first time, they started a new thing where there is a surprise 5th game that they threw in there during the presentation. So this year, it looks like they're doing something different again, where there are 3 confirmed games, and then they're teasing that there's a 4th game. But that 4th game, they're saying, will be a brand new game. But then explain this, because now we head on over to Windows Central, where there's rumors that we will get an announcement during this showcase of something Final Fantasy related. So let me read this. Let me stop stalling and read this. So from VGC/Windows Central reporting. Thank you, Windows Central. The live stream will also visit a surprise location to see another studio's brand new game. But Windows Central sources indicate that this will be a new entry in a legendary Japanese IP, which has decades of history and should make a lot of fans happy, Windows Central reported on Monday. Indeed, this is, quote, indeed, Microsoft has won some strong support from the region lately. From studios like Square Enix for Final Fantasy, or HoYoverse for Genshin Impact, or Sega/Atlas for Persona. And we suspect this new game will help further that trend, the site Windows Central says. So, hold that thought. Adding further fuel to this rumor, PlayStation exclusive Final Fantasy games will soon be announced for Xbox and Nintendo platforms. It is claimed, that's according to podcaster Nate the Hate, which claims that Square Enix could share the news as soon as Xbox's Developer Direct stream next week. According to the podcast sources, Final Fantasy VII Remake, not brand new game, Final Fantasy VII Remake, which came out in 2020, which has been long available for PS4, PS5, and PC, will finally be released on Xbox in 2025, which is the current year we're in, followed by its sequel, Final Fantasy VII Rebirth, which came out last year, coming to Xbox in 2026. Is that confusing? Fuck you. Both of these titles will also be released for the Nintendo Switch 2. It is claimed, please for the love of God, don't call that thing Nintendo Switch 2. It's such a dumb name. Call it Super Switch. I love that name. According to the Nate the Hate podcast, the PlayStation 5 exclusive Final Fantasy 16, which released in 2023, will also be released for Xbox later this year, and a PC port of the game was just announced a month ago to release next week at the same time as the Xbox Developer Direct. So let me recap that real quick. Final Fantasy VII Remake is supposed to come to Xbox this year, and then so is Final Fantasy 16, and then next year we would get Final Fantasy 7 Rebirth, which is part 2 of the Final Fantasy 7 remake. Yes, for all Western gamers who do not typically play or consume Japanese media or video games, this is absolutely normal. The Japanese think this is absolutely a normal thing to do. You know what? I'm inclined to say, fuck it. You know, I'm pretty sure we got a McDonald's 2 somewhere in this country, so I can't fault them for that. Listen, we couldn't keep Lost under 3 seasons. Are you fucking kidding me? We're in no place to judge. All right. Cronky writes it and says, the Xbox Developer Direct was just announced for the 23rd. I'm hyped because I already have that day off of work. I'm hoping the mystery game will be from Double Fine. It's been a long time with no news from them. Well, there's always Halo Wars 3. Well, boy, Cronky, have I got news for you. It's going to be neither of those fucking games. Now, there's a lot of ways we can pull at this. The first thing I just want to say, I just want to get out in the open here is any podcaster, YouTuber, pundit who has told you that Fable is coming out in 2025 is either just wrong or is lying to you. Because if Fable was coming out this year, it would be at this showcase. So just putting that up there right now. I've also seen rumors that Gears E-Day will come out this year. That's hilarious. Gears E-Day is absolutely is never going to come out this year, but Fable is not coming out in 2025. Mark my words, eat my words, beat it to my words, whatever you want to do. Fable is not coming out this year. Fuck that. So that right there has been confirmed just by way of this happening. Now, they're saying it's a brand new game. So this 4th game is a brand new game. So is it possible they announce that like Final Fantasy 7 or Final Fantasy 16 are coming to Xbox? Yeah. But I think that would be like a mid-show surprise, like what they did last year. Something they don't announce early, and then they just kind of hit you with during the event, which would be fucking awesome, honestly, if the way they announce that is, hey, Final Fantasy 16 is coming to Xbox, and it's available today, the same day it's coming to PC, which would be a really awesome redemption story, because if you'll remember last month at the Game Awards, they showed Final Fantasy 16, and everyone was like, oh my god, it's coming to Xbox, this is awesome. And then the trailer happened, it was like, coming to PC. And it was like, fuck that. So it would be really cool if they were like, ha ha ha, got you bitches. It's also coming to Xbox and it's available today, just like it's on PC. So I think that would be a really cool surprise. I'm really hoping that's kind of what they're doing. I think that just actually be such a fun, exciting way. Personally, I won't be disappointed if they don't, because we're about to get Avowed and I don't have time for Final Fantasy, but I just think that's a really cool idea. So I'm of the mind that the Final Fantasy thing is happening at this showcase, and it's separate from the 3 confirmed games and the 1 game that they're teasing. Because the game that they're teasing, they're saying, is a brand new game. So I'm very curious about that. I'm kind of assuming it's going to be some smaller kind of Game Pass title that they're going to announce for the first time. But yeah, would I love for it to be Halo Wars 3? Would I love for it to be Halo 5 Part 2, not Halo Infinite, because Halo Infinite is not a sequel to Halo 5 at all? Yeah. Do I think that's going to happen? No. Do I think they're going to, if maybe Phil Spencer's going to come out and be like, our 4th game is actually me just announcing all the Xbox games we're bringing to Nintendo Switch and PlayStation 5 while I slowly rub my nipples. I think there's a fair chance that happens because Xbox likes the tears of their own fan base, but I don't know. I don't fucking know. So my money is on, we're going to get these, obviously, South of Midnight, Expedition 33, and Doom the Dark Ages as confirmed. The mystery game is going to be something unannounced, probably smaller in nature, so don't get too excited, but probably something interesting and new and that we don't know about. And then the surprise that like isn't even announced to be announced will happen in the middle of the showcase. They'll be like, oh wait, what's this? Let's take a detour over here. And that will be the news that like, hey, Final Fantasy 7 and 16 are coming to Xbox, and one of them at least is available actually right now today. So that is my speculation for the show. Now, let's talk about the games that are confirmed for a brief second. We got South of Midnight, which is a first-party Xbox game coming out this year from developer We Happy Few developer Compulsion Games. I'm so excited for this game. This is my most anticipated game of the year. Aside from Avowed. So the 3 games this year I most give a shit about: South of Midnight, Avowed, and probably Judas. I forgot that game was coming out until recently, and I was like, fuck, I can't wait for that. Yeah, I mean, easily. So this is a game I'm just really, really excited to see more of, and then once I see more of it, I'm just excited to play it. I really hope that South of Midnight ends up being, as I said a couple weeks back, really hope this ends up being their kind of like May time game, like May slot. Although I could totally see Doom the Dark Ages ending up there. In any case, I have no I have no confidence that South of Midnight is going to be a game that performs and does well. And it makes me very disappointed because I think this game has sleeper hit written all over. It's going to be one of those games where people who played it knew how good it was, and most people just didn't give a shit, like Sunset Overdrive or Quantum Break. I feel like South of Midnight has Quantum Break and Sunset Overdrive energy oozing out of it. It's going to be a game that's like so cool, so stylish, so fun, so creative, so unique, and it's going to get fucking trounced by like, did you know they made an Elden Ring Fortnite clone? Did you know that Grand Theft Auto is having a 6? Whatever, dude. I mean, I'm excited for Grand Theft Auto 6 too, but like, come on, man. South of Midnight looks so good. Anyway, so that's a really exciting one. Now, Sandfall Interactive's Clair Obscur Expedition 33. If you don't remember this game, it's because we've only really seen it once before. It was announced last year during Xbox's Summer Showcase event, and this game looks fucking awesome. It is a French studio called Sandfall Interactive, and they are making a Japanese role-playing game, but it's made by this French team. And it looks fucking sick. It's that game where it's like about like that society where every year this like queen has to draw a random number, and whatever number she pulls, everyone who's that age will die that year. And so every year this society like gets together an expedition of people who are that age, whatever the number. Like if she pulls 33, it's like everyone who is 33 this year will die. So like they get an expedition of like 33-year-olds, which the game's title suggests, and then they get put on this expedition to try and like put a stop to her so that they can like prevent this tradition, the sacrifice ritual thing from occurring every year. And that is such a weird fucking Japanese premise, despite the fact that this game is being made by Frenchmen. And it sounds so fucking awesome. I don't know. This game just has so much style, and I'm so curious to play a game that is like a Japanese role-playing game, but has more of a Western sensibility to it. And I wonder if they can make something that is narratively more cohesive, a little tighter in the gameplay, a little shorter in the runtime, and a little less, I don't know, just a little less Japanese, because I feel like that could make for a really interesting flair to a genre that is mostly pretty much relegated to Japanese developers and or white nerdy American indie developers. So I just think this sounds like a really, really interesting game, and I'm very curious to try it out. Am I going to love it? I don't fucking know, but it's a game I have every intention of getting into once it comes to Game Pass on its launch day sometime this year. And so I think it's cool that Xbox is getting in bed with these guys, and this is a game that they're putting their marketing might and power behind. You got to assume Xbox is probably helping fund this game to some extent because of how heavily they're marketing it and the fact that it's a Game Pass game. So there's some Xbox money on the line probably with this game, but I'm very interested in this game. It is multi-platform, so it will be on other platforms as well. But so is everything Xbox does. I got you, bitch. I saw you crying. All right, and then of course the third game that's already confirmed needs no introduction. Doom: The Dark Ages, the third entry in this new Doom series, the one with fucking swords and the gun that shoots skull fractured heads pieces, and you got the swords, and it looks awesome. Looks fucking awesome. What more needs to be said? A more melee focused Doom game. Who isn't excited for this game? Who doesn't want to play this game? Obviously, this is going to be a strong showing and just get people hyped. Doom has traditionally come out earlier in the year between March and May, so I think usually around March. So I wouldn't be surprised to find out that this game is pretty imminent. They're not, we got Avowed in February, so maybe Doom comes out in May, and then South of Midnight is like a September release or something. I don't know. I don't know where to put South of Midnight, because you don't want to put it during the holiday rush. It's kind of a bad place for a game like that. But also, it's like, where the fuck is GTA 6? Get the fuck everything. Get away from GTA 6. Even if you're, dude. I mean, like even if you're like, I don't know, what's a movie coming out this year that people are looking forward to? I don't know, so I'll make it up. Even if you're Despicable Me 5, get the fuck out of the way of Grand Theft Auto 6, because anything that is entertainment or media is gonna suck up all the energy in the room when GTA 6 comes out. So I don't know what you do with dates. Knowing that we're all just kind of waiting to see where Grand Theft Auto lands on the calendar. But that's it, man. I mean, I'm excited for the event. Obviously, we'll talk about it a lot next week once it happens, and we'll have our answer as to what these mystery games are. I'm just looking forward to it, man. I love this tradition. I think it's such a cool thing that Xbox starts off their year every year by saying like, hey, here's how we want to kind of paint the picture of what this year should look like. It's really cool. It's like, here are 4 games that we really want to push and market to you and say, like, throughout the year, look forward to this exclusive content. or heavily marketed content from our brand for you as a player of this console platform. And I just think it's a really good way to set proper expectations and get your fan base engaged from the beginning of the year in what you're going to have to offer. Now, I like that they then always immediately follow up that kind of hype with bad news, like we're putting all of our games on PlayStation, or we're firing all the people that make the games you like. So that's pretty cool. I can't wait to see what they do next. Maybe they'll have a fucking sacrificial hanging of interns after this showcase, because Xbox is fucking immune to good news and good positive attention for themselves. So it'll be cool to see how they shoot themselves in the feet almost immediately after this presentation. But for the time being, let's just try to be excited and optimistic about what we're getting here. All right, so one more mildly amusing story for the news, and then we'll get into the main news this week. Going back to Ubisoft, and I don't have much to say about this because it's one of those like last minute, a little polish, never hurt anyone kind of thing. But Ubisoft has made the decision to once again delay Assassin's Creed Shadows until for 1 month further to incorporate more player feedback and have the launch be pristine. So Shadows was previously supposed to launch back in November, then it was pushed to February. Now it's being pushed to March 20th. So the game will come out on March 20th. In a statement, Ubisoft said that the development extra time would allow them to better incorporate player feedback gathered over the past few months and help create the best conditions for launch by continuing to engage closely with increasing positive Assassin's Creed community. Now, this is important because this game's already had a lot of negative feedback around it. And their last big game severely underperformed, which was Star Wars Outlaws. So they can't afford another fuck up, and they're taking all the time they can to make sure this game releases in a proper state. So I understand that. I respect that. And I got nothing to say to that. Oh, well, wait 1 more month for Assassin's Creed Shadows. I'm never going to fucking play this game, so it doesn't matter for me. But Assassin's Creed fans, understandably, a couple more weeks. That's disappointing, obviously, but it is what it is. You wait it out, scream and shout. This just gives you more time to play Avowed. So what the fuck are you complaining about, okay? Good for Avowed, actually. It gives them a little more time in the spotlight. So, guys, that's it for all of our opening, mild news stories. We're going to take a break here, get into the games we've been playing, all that, and then we'll hop into the main news segment. But yeah, let's kick it off with the games I've been playing. Games. Oh, before I can tell you about the games I've been playing this week, guys, you're not going to believe this. I want to take a second to tell you what it is I've been eating. Oh my God. Welcome. So this past Saturday, I was at the Disney Animal Kingdom theme park with Minovia, and we were saying our goodbyes with a friend to Dino Land USA. Well, half of it at least, because Disney is in the process of phased closing out the Dino land of their Animal Kingdom theme park. And if you're listening from like fucking Michigan or some European country like that, you're probably like, Jesse, what the fuck is Disney's Animal Kingdom? What the fuck is Dino Land? Shut up, I'm getting there. This is about what I've been eating, not what you've been talking over. So we had to catch lunch because we were spending a full day in the park, and, you know, tummy gets grumbly if you don't feed it after a while. So we made a pit stop to none other than Satuli Canteen. So this week I just want to give a little shout out. I think there's it's a little bit of a shout out. It's a little bit of shade. It's a little bit of both. You know my style. It's to like/hate everything because I'm a hipster, self-loathing piece of shit. But I have some beef with Satuli Canteen because this is a restaurant at Disney that has gotten so much praise and attention since the day it opened in 2017. And while it is great, and while I do appreciate it and enjoy it, I have severe issues with this restaurant because the thing is, people are always willing to say, oh, Satuli Canteen, which is the restaurant at Animal Kingdom. So let me context. Disney World is the biggest theme park resort in the world. It's located in Orlando, Florida. At Disney World, there's more than just the castle park. There's more than just the theme park with the castle. There's more than just the theme park with the fucking Pirates of the Caribbean and the Dumbo ride. There's more than just the park with the big castle. There are 4 theme parks. One of them is called Disney's Animal Kingdom. It is secretly the best park and the only park that they haven't bastardized yet. And it's awesome. It's a beautiful park, and they're about to fuck it up with Encanto. But until then, it's still a pretty awesome park. And the secret to Animal Kingdom, aside from it just being the best Disney park, is that it is probably the best theme park in the United States that I've ever been to for eating at. Obviously, theme parks are notorious for shitty food. Six Flags need no introduction, county fairs, etc., etc. Disney has always been pretty decent about food quality. I mean, if you eat at like a real restaurant, like a sit-down restaurant, especially like the ones in their hotels and their resorts, they have some pretty phenomenal restaurants throughout Disney properties. Some of my favorite restaurants in the world. But you know, like the theme park food, like the grab and go counter service. Like I just rode this roller coaster, and now I'm gonna grab a cheeseburger and French fries, then I'm gonna go ride that roller coaster. Like that kind of food. For Disney, it's always been pretty much better than any other theme park you go to, but still not super good because it's, at the end of the day, overpriced theme park food. However, Disney's Animal Kingdom is one of those rare theme parks that kind of bucks that convention, because I personally think that food in general at Disney's Animal Kingdom is just really good. It's just like kind of weirdly, unquestionably good. And considering Epcot is the theme park that's all about eating food from around the world, and a little food in Mexico, a little food in China, a little food in Germany. Personally, I think Animal Kingdom trounces Epcot when it comes to the quality of their food and the variety of their food, honestly. So I want to give a shout out to Animal Kingdom as a theme park for just having good food. But here's my beef. So Disney opens that Avatar land in 2017. Avatar, like James Cameron, blue people fucking with their ears, Avatar. And it's a beautiful land with a beautiful attraction and a beautiful restaurant. The whole thing's great. And Satuli Canteen is the name of the restaurant. It's basically Disney's concept of like Chipotle. It's like, what if we had like pick a base, pick a protein, pick a sauce, build a bowl. It's hip, it's fresh, it's cool. But this restaurant's awesome. It's like they have a wood fire grill, and they make beef, they make chicken, they make shrimp, and then you can pick like garlic noodles or rice and beans or like potato hash, and you can get like creamy garlic or like green onion and chimichurri, like a green onion garlicky chimichurri sauce. You can get like a vinaigrette. You can get all these different sauces, and you mix and match and you build your bowl. It's fucking awesome. It's supposed to be like, ooh, it's goopy animal alien food, which is this weird passively racist thing that theme parks like to do, where they're like, you've been transported to a fucking alien planet, here's Asian food. And it's like, whatever. But the thing is, this restaurant is exciting because the food's really fucking good, and it's always been good. Now, there's a whole separate argument people like to have about how the quality of the food and the portion sizes have gone down over the years. And yes, that is true. It's not as good as it used to be. And yes, the portion sizes are smaller. But the food is still pretty good. It's still a pretty good meal for a theme park. Probably one of the better ones. But here's my problem with Satuli Canteen is because it is so beloved, because it is so popular, and it is good. I like it. I enjoy it every time I go there. The problem is, anytime you go to Disney's Animal Kingdom with someone other than just going by yourself, and I'm probably the only person who likes to go to theme parks by themselves, but when you go with anyone else, always, it turns into this thing of like, where do you want to eat? And the person you're with always goes, I want to eat at Satuli Canteen. I want to get the noodle bowl with the grilled shrimp or the beef. And listen, it's good. I always get the noodle bowl with the beef and the creamy the creamy herb sauce. I get that combo every time. It's fucking good every time. And they got that blueberry passion fruit mousse dessert, which is like fucking amazing. It's such a good dessert. And so it's a good time. But it pisses me off because every time I go to Animal Kingdom, I go, well, we had Satuli Canteen the last time and the time before that. And then I walk around the park as I'm petting kittens and looking at otters and enjoying what a beautiful attraction Expedition Everest is, as I wonder why Disney and Universal have not been able to build an attraction that is half as beautiful as Expedition Everest in the fucking 20 years they've had to top it. And I think to myself as I walk around the park, man, Pizza Far is pretty fucking good because Disney Pizza's awesome. That's a controversial take, but Flame Tree Barbecue, pretty fucking good. That's really good theme park barbecue, okay? They have a pulled pork mac and cheese with like this fucking banana slaw and onion rings and shit on top of it, and it's really good stuff. They got like, you can get like pulled pork, you can get baby back ribs, you can get smoked chicken. It's all good shit. It's really good barbecue at a theme park. Great. You can go to Restaurantosaurus if you want your classic theme park burger and fries. Get one that looks like a dinosaur excavation site turned into a burger restaurant. It's fucking awesome, and their chicken sandwich is surprisingly good. It's actually way better than it has any right to be, and I just like Disney fries because they're like better than McDonald's fries, but that's just my opinion. And then if you go early enough in the day, before 2 o'clock, they have the Harambe Market in Africa, and that place is also really good. You can get like the fucking peri-peri fucking Australian-style shrimp that for some reason they put in Africa, and you can get like the chickpeas and the couscous rice and all the vegetables and it's so good, and the chutneys and all the stuff. It's like that place is awesome. The food's really fucking good there. And then, not to mention, Animal Kingdom literally has a Rainforest Cafe in it. So you can eat the best restaurant of all time, Rainforest Cafe, second only to TGI Fridays. May you rest in peace. And that's my gripe. That's all I'm saying. Is it's like, listen, Satuli Canteen is great. I love the weird noodle bowl with the boba pearls that makes you feel like it's alien because you're white and you've never had something that wasn't meatloaf, and now Disney's serving you vaguely Asian food and telling you aliens made it. Whatever. It's good stuff. But sometimes I want the Flame Tree Barbecue, and sometimes I want the Rainforest Cafe. In fact, I always want the Rainforest Cafe. In fact, I'm probably going to go to the Rainforest Cafe this week because I can't stop thinking about how much I love the Rainforest Cafe, and I have a $25 gift card I really need to go use there. And sometimes you want the Harambe Market or something like that. But always, no matter what, everyone you go with, anytime you go to Animal Kingdom says, ooh, let's go to Satuli Canteen. Fuck you. And that's my problem. Shout out to Pizza Fari. They now have a chicken parmesan on the menu, and I'm very curious to see how bad it is, and I would like to try it. But that's it for what I've been eating. Shout out to the Satuli Canteen. Shout out to Disney's Animal Kingdom theme park. You, along with Islands, I'm finally getting jaded. It's like people who move to Orlando for the theme parks, they always turn into jaded assholes within like 24 months. I feel like I lasted a lot longer than most people, where I was like, no, fuck that. Living near Disney World's amazing. I'm finally starting to get a little jaded, but you cannot shake me down with two things. Islands of Adventure and Animal Kingdom, fucking love those parks. They just feel so 90s. They feel so good. They feel so unmolested, you know? You know what I'm talking about. Of course you do. It's an Xbox podcast. Of course you know. That is until Disney starts putting all their fucking best rides at Universal because they're like Xbox. All right. So that's it for what I've been eating. You guys, time to tell you about what I've been playing. It's not very exciting. It's not a very exciting one. No, it's not. I'm sorry, it's not. I'm addicted to Marvel Rivals, and I'm really trying not to be. So what I'm doing is I'm not allowing myself to play it. When I want to play Marvel Rivals, I force myself to read my tablet because I have that Marvel comic app, Marvel Unlimited. So now I'm reading that instead. And when I go to play Marvel Rivals, I ask my girlfriend, do you want to play Fortnite on the Xbox, baby? Do you want to do that right now? She goes, I do want to play Fortnite. I'm like, great. Now I can't use the Xbox because you're on it. And then I go play something else or do something else to kind of stop myself because I can feel I'm on the edge. I'm at that point where it's like, if I play Marvel Rivals for like one more weekend, I'm going to be down the rabbit hole. It's going to be like when I played Call of Duty every fucking week for a year. And I can't have that happen. So I'm trying to not allow myself to play it. I jumped in for a little bit. I tried out the Fantastic Four characters and the new maps. And I'm like, fuck, I really like this game. This is not good. And so I stopped myself. And I went back to Batman Arkham Origins. And I did something I never do. I loaded my save file that I already completed the game on. And I just started clearing out every checkbox on the map. Just clearing out everything. Not achievement hunting. Not trying to do a New Game Plus run. Just enjoying all the little collectibles and side content that the game has to offer because I loved this game so much. It is a rare example of a time where I just want to see this game to its fullest. And so I did pretty much everything in the game. I've done all the side content that matters. The only thing I haven't done is like some of the little collectibles, but I'm pretty much fucking out fucking all the content in this game. I'm fucking its Batman brains out. I don't know why that's where my head went to say that thing, but it's what I'm doing. So played a lot more Batman Arkham Origins this weekend, and then Dead Space 2. So I'm trying to find something to do before I play Spider-Man 2 when it comes to PC at the end of the month, and before Avowed. I'm trying to pace it out to where I play something that's short and sweet now, then I got Spider-Man, then I got Avowed. So I think I'm going to play Dead Space 2 because I beat Dead Space 1 for the first time a few years ago. Loved it. Got to play Dead Space 2. It's shorter than the first game. HowLongToBeat.com says it's only like an 8-hour game. So I'm thinking about like blasting through that this weekend and then being ready for Spider-Man and then being ready for Avowed. So I think that's the game plan. I went ahead and I downloaded it on the Series S in the loft. So my plan is to hop into that this weekend. We'll see how that goes. But I'm thinking Dead Space 2. Let me know if that's a good idea. Let me know if it's not. But really, that's all I got to say for what I've been playing. Unfortunately, I just haven't been dabbling too much. In fact, I don't want to say unfortunately. I actually want to pat myself on the back. I've been trying to read a lot more. I'm in the mood for reading, so I'm trying to like really capitalize on it. So I'm in the process of reading 2 books and a lot of comics all at like the same time, like juggling all 3. So instead of really playing a lot of games, I've actually just been reading a lot, and it feels good. I'm not reading anything like super profound. It's like one's a book that my manager gifted me, and one's a One's like a personal finance book that I was just curious to read because I've never read one of those books. I've always been curious about, those dudes that read like a Rich Dad Poor Dad and become like conservative overnight. So I'm just like, I'll read one of them just to see what it's like. And then I'm reading all these Marvel comics, but I'm enjoying just, everything's light and easy reading when you're reading like nonsense. So I'm just kind of enjoying going through all of it. That's really what I've been doing with my free time, but that is it for what I've been playing, eating, reading, beating, and guys, it's good stuff. Free time is good. Get more free time. It's nice to have free time. Let's take a quick water break, and then we will get into the main news, and that will really just about do it for us, you boys, you sweet, sexy young boys. We only got 2 stories, but we got a lot to say about both of them. So let's take a break, and we'll get back. All right, we are back, ready to get into the big news stories of the week. Well, I mean, in a way, we kind of started with the big news with the announcement of the Xbox Showcase, but whatever. I mean, that's really like pre-news for next week's big news, if that makes sense. Anyway, let's talk about the big one here. Oblivion, is it coming back? Are we getting a remake of Oblivion? Let's find out. From VGC, Virtuous is working on an unannounced remake built in Unreal Engine 5 for Xbox Series S, Series X, PC, and, PlayStation 5. That's according to a LinkedIn profile page. Oleski Moskvich-chenko, leave me alone, a technical art director at Virtuous in Shanghai, China. While the identity of the project remains a mystery, it's reignited speculation of a remake of the 2006 Elder Scroll 4 Oblivion game, how it could be in development at Virtuous. Hello, cat that's rubbing up against me, a little cutie pie. In July 2023, a Reddit user said that the former Virtuous employee claimed that the studio was working on a remake of Oblivion. They said that the title would make use of the pairing system that would run the game on both Unreal Engine 5 and the Oblivion engine, I don't understand how that works. For instance, new graphics are rendered in Unreal Engine 5 project, but most of the gameplay, physics, etc. are still done in the Oblivion engine, they claimed. All right. And later that year, a leaked court document revealed a roadmap of planned Bethesda games for 2020, which included an Oblivion remaster. Established in 2004, Virtuous is one of the largest game makers in all the world. Focuses on supporting the development of major AAA games or bringing existing titles to new platforms. Having previously worked on the franchises like Call of Duty, Tomb Raider, Dark Souls, BioShock, Battlefield, Uncharted, and Horizon, it's currently supporting Konami's development of Metal Gear Solid 3 Remake. However, we soon got further information that led to more credibility to this rumor. So, continuing on with more information that came out later, gameplay improvements, features, and featured in the anticipated but unannounced remake of Elder Scrolls 4 Oblivion have reportedly leaked. This is according to MP First report, which is a website I'm unfamiliar with. The website of former Virtuous employees has now detailed a number of updated gameplay features present in the game, in addition to being a fully remade game in Unreal Engine 5. The updated title is said to rework 6 gameplay systems, including stamina, sneaking, blocking, archery, hit, reaction, and HUD. Improvements on the blocking system have reportedly been inspired by Souls-like games, yes, while sneaking icons are now highlighted in the new system. The stamina, this is a quote from the site, the stamina system was modified to be less frustrating for the player, making the knockdown that occurs when stamina is depleted more difficult to activate through changes in calculation methods, according to the report. Also, the HUD was changed to make it easier to understand and more aesthetically appealing to young players. Hit reactions were also added to improve the response to damage infliction on the players and NPCs. Finally, archery was improved to make it more playable for modern audiences, both third and first person. Okay, so it sounds like Virtuous is making an Elder Scrolls Oblivion remake. Who knows? Maybe this is that surprise unannounced game that they are teasing, but that would be a remake of a game. I just assume they're talking about a brand new game. But hey, maybe this is that game. That'd be cool if they're like, hey, 2025 is the year of Elder Scrolls 4 Oblivion, Avowed, which are similar in a way, and then Outer Worlds 2, but not Fable. I don't know. Xbox has so many of these Western style first-person RPG games, I swear to God. I mean, it's awesome. I love them, but they have so many of them now. Anyway, so it seems like this is all but confirmed. I mean, maybe there's a chance that this is something we're going to see at this Xbox Showcase Developer Direct, but I think more realistically, this is something that we would learn about at like a summer showcase in June. So, I mean, obviously, it's a wait-and-see approach. We're going to see something about this pretty imminently, whether it's next week or in the next 6 months. but I would assume that this is something we're going to learn about pretty soon, because it does seem like they're ramping up to have this game ready in the next year or two, based on the amount of time it's been rumored and the fact that we're starting to get more and more information on it. I would assume that's just something that they're planning on doing relatively recently. And I think this is a good idea. I see a lot of people being like, oh, isn't Oblivion a little like dated, or like people like Skyrim? That's kind of the one that made this series modernized. But it's like, I don't know. I never played Oblivion. I watched a lot of it because my brothers loved the fuck out of this game, but I never personally played it. My understanding from what I observed is that this game looks kind of like Elder Scrolls, and I'm sure it could be tweaked and modernized enough to feel at least as good as Skyrim did. But that being said, I feel like this would be a perfect way to tell audiences, hey, we know you want Elder Scrolls 6, but here's a game that statistically most of the audience that played Skyrim has never played. And it's like playing a brand new Bethesda game. And, you know, here's something to hold you over for the next couple of years until Elder Scrolls 6 is ready, you know? So I feel like this is kind of like a perfect project to do, you know? It comes out 2 years after Starfield, 2 years before Elder Scrolls 6. Ha 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 ha. I'm just optimistically saying that. But, you know, I just feel like this is actually a pretty good idea, and to outsource it and not have to do it in-house is an even better idea, because you don't want Bethesda Game Studios using their finite resources to do this at all. So I'm all for this. I'm optimistic about it. It would be an excuse for me to finally play Oblivion, and I'd be more than willing to give it a try with this remake. And, you know, it'd be good for PlayStation players, since PlayStation players never had access to a half decent version of this game because PlayStation 3 sucked at playing Bethesda games. And so this would be all around a pretty good thing, a way to preserve and modernize this game. And I don't know. I'm for it. I'd say let's make it happen. Although, I don't know. Now that I think about it, I feel like maybe this would be another year or two off. But in any case, pretty cool news. Pretty cool. The other big news story this week, you guys, you boys and girls, probably just boys, because I don't think any women listen to this podcast, is that, here we go. Here's the fun one. I saved the best for last. Microsoft Flight Simulator 2024 and Halo the Master Chief Collection are both coming to Nintendo Switch 2 and PS5, it has been claimed. This is according to, once again, Nate the Hate podcaster, a podcaster with a history of correctly reporting on unreleased video games, both that are planned for systems as Microsoft plans to heavily support Nintendo Switch 2. It is also claimed that both of these games will also come to PS5. Both games will also be the latest traditional Xbox exclusive titles to move over to other platforms. Xbox first announced in February of last year plans to bring a wave of PlayStation games to PlayStation and Nintendo, in which appear to be a significant change in strategy, starting with Pentiment, Hi-Fi Rush, Sea of Thieves, and Grounded. Later, though, Microsoft announced Doom: The Dark Ages for Xbox Series X and S, PC, and, of course, PS5. They also confirmed a PS5 version later that year of Indiana Jones and the Great Circle, and how that will be released sometime this year. Additionally, finally, hopefully, not really, The Outer Worlds 2 is also planned to release for PlayStation 5 this year. But that's not all, because we are now learning even more about Xbox games making their way to Nintendo and Sony platforms, because now reports from Windows Central corroborate those claims with its own sources, and report that further franchises are also being planned for Xbox and PlayStation, from Xbox for PlayStation in 2025. According to the publication, Ninja Theory's Hellblade 2, strategy title Age of Mythology, which apparently there have been like leaks of that on PlayStation, and a potential Gears of War 1 Ultimate Edition are all slated for release on PlayStation 5 this year. Cronky writes in and says, hot take, if Xbox is going to put everything on PlayStation anyway, they need to hurry up. I want that massive influx of new players to the Master Chief Collection so I can play without getting stomped on by nerds. Well, Cronky, it sounds like you might be getting just that. I gotta say, none of this surprises me. Switch 2 is going to be more powerful, which is going to make it easier to put Xbox games on Switch, which is why they're going to heavily support Switch 2. That doesn't surprise me. More Xbox games can come into PlayStation. Doesn't surprise me. The ones that we already know about, they kind of make sense. Kind of. The thing that surprises me or gets me really is just, you know, like Flight Sim, Age of Mythology, whatever. It's Gears and Halo. And I'll tell you why. It's because, you know, I just don't see why you would just use the good one, the big heavy hitters, so flippantly. You're going to take a 2015 remake of a 2005 game and just port it to PlayStation and say Gears of War is finally on PlayStation. That is going to be the unceremonious introduction of Gears of War to PlayStation. You're going to take the 2014 collection that was an absolute disaster that took 10 years to get a good collection of Halo games in Halo the Master Chief Collection, and just put all of Halo's best shit in one package and sell it, port it over to PlayStation and call it a day? You're going to do that? Because I'm pretty sure if you're Xbox, you can make fuck you money by slowly and steadily doing this long, drawn-out bullshit move of reimagining Halo Combat Evolved from the ground up, stem to stern, and then releasing on PlayStation and Xbox. And be like, this is a Halo Combat Evolved reimagined. It's on PlayStation. And then do the same thing with Halo 2 and Halo 3 and so on and so forth. And you can make serious fuck you money doing that. But if you're just going to take Halo the Master Chief Collection and throw it on PlayStation for $60 and call it a day, that's 6 Halo games and all the good multiplayer just thrown out the window for $60 one time sold. I mean, I just feel like they can milk this for so much more. And also, it's like, this is the last stuff you guys should be bringing to PlayStation. Halo should come to PlayStation after you have exhausted everything else. So for it to just be, yet another game to come to PlayStation just feels, I don't know, so uneventful. It just seems so unceremonious, but also maybe so fitting because it's Xbox and they don't understand their own platform to save their fucking lives. Now, if there's anything that screams to me, is it is yet another example of Phil Spencer and his team are not in the driver's seat anymore, and there are bigger characters and actors at Microsoft who are saying, yeah, put Halo on the fucking PlayStation, let's get the money right now, asshole. And I mean, nothing says that to me more than this kind of move. Because I swear to God, if Gears of War and Halo come to PlayStation this year, and it's just we're porting over these Xbox One era remasters and collections onto PlayStation, I mean, that is so lazy. I mean, after 25 years of speculating, what if Halo came to PlayStation? What if Halo was on Nintendo? What if Halo was not exclusive to Xbox? You're just gonna do it this way? That's, I don't know, it's just so weird. It's like if Mario came to PlayStation, they're like, yeah, remember that collection we did of Mario Galaxy, Sunshine, and 64 from like 3 or 4 years ago? We're just gonna port that over to PlayStation. There you go. It's like, really, dude? It's been like 35 years of people wondering, what if Mario? It's been, oh god, holy shit, it's been so long. It's been like 40 years. It's been like a million years since Mario came out. And it's like, yeah, let's just slap a port onto PlayStation and call it a day. Holy shit, is Mario 40 years old this year? I don't want to think about that. That makes me deeply uncomfortable. Yeah, Super Mario Bros. Is like 85, right? Holy shit, is Mario turning 40 this year? God, guys, we are all dying. What is happening? Anyway, but yeah, so I don't know. I really take issue with how they're doing this. I know it's inevitable. Obviously, none of us want to see Halo and Gears come to PlayStation. It sucks to suck, is what it is. It's an inevitability, but like, come on, at least have more of a red carpet for it than this. I just feel like this is just so incredibly low effort, and that's just sad. It's just like a new low for how little Xbox is respecting Halo as a franchise. And so I guess that's just kind of my beef. But as far as them just like generally supporting Nintendo Switch 2 and PlayStation 5 heavily in 2025, yeah, I mean, it's no surprise there. Xbox is just a multi-platform console anyway, so literally no surprise there. It just is what it is. But yeah, fortunately, I guess we're ending on a little bit of a sour note, but that's the news this week, guys. All your games are coming to PlayStation. Oblivion's getting a remake, hopefully, and I'm really excited for the Xbox Showcase next week, so we'll have to stay tuned and see how this plays out beginning next week and throughout the year. It seems like 2025 is going to be quite an interesting year for Xbox. There's never a dull moment with these guys, right? I mean, there were rumors that we're going to get the next generation of Xbox console hardware in 2026. So for all we know, we could get the announcement of the Xbox Series Z or whatever the fuck later this year. Who fucking knows? It's going to be a big year for Xbox. I'm just excited to see how it plays out and to be there along for the ride because I love Xbox. I love playing my games there. And even though they have some fucking monkeys running the show these days, it's just, I don't know. Like, with all due respect to like Phil Spencer and Sarah Bond, it's like whoever above them is now pulling strings. It's like, I get it. They're running a really good fucking company for selling stocks and Office and Azure and the stuff. But my God, Microsoft as a consumer company is so fucking abysmal. It's insane. But that's it for all the news this week. You guys, let's wrap up with the best, final, and last segment of the podcast because there is no small news to get through this week. That is the comments, the shout-outs, the write-ins from YouTube.com. You know how it works. You head on over to YouTube.com. You search up Xbox On Podcast. Don't click on that British thing. Click on my podcast, the one that has no views. And you click on the latest episode, and you leave a comment. You can say something nice. You can be a total asshole. You can just say, I think it's funny when Master Chief is on the PlayStation because that makes Jesse sad. And I like that. I get off to Jesse being sad. It makes me excited in a weird way. And that's fine. Don't be a dick to other people because we've had a lot of that in the past year. I don't like that. I'm going to try to do more to prevent that from being a thing on the podcast and in the comments. So don't be that asshole. But you can say whatever the fuck you want within reason. Just moderate yourself. Be an adult. Don't be a fucking child. We got 4 people writing in this week, and Xbox Michael with a 3 in the middle of his name writes in and says, "Sup, Jesse? You said you don't know many places in England, so here's a new one for you. I'm from Kent, also known as the Garden of England. Sadly, I live in the part of Kent that more resembles a garden of shit. Anyway, are you much of a Rainbow Six Siege fan? It's one of my favorite games. I play it almost daily. As for comfort games, I recently bought a Game Boy Advance SP for nostalgia reasons, and I've been playing Pokemon Leaf Green again. Played it tons as a kid 20 years ago, and played it loads now as an adult." Well, that's awesome. Thank you for writing in, Michael. Kent, England. I'm aware that there are gardens in England, so I'm not that ignorant. Listen, I'm aware of parts of England. I want to let you know about something. Hang on a second. No, it's no Staffordshire. No, not even close. I was gonna say Alton Towers. I know of Alton Towers, a theme park, because I've always wanted to go there, but that's not. No, that's nowhere. That's not Kent. Let me see. Map of England. All right, let's pull this up. Let's see what I know. Let's figure out what do I know about the England. I said map of England. What the fuck is a stamp of approval? What the fuck? All right, here we go. I need a map for people born past the year 1913. What are we looking at here? All right. God, fucking England is so funny. Nottinghamshire. That's a place. I can't believe it. Why is that real? Why is that not something people make up? Okay. Yeah, so there is Alton Towers there in Staffordshire. It's a lot more central than I thought it is. I don't know why I thought it was further north. Listen, you live in fucking... No. Oh. I know some of these places. I'm reading. I know Trowbridge. We got developers out there. I'm aware of Devon. I'm aware of course, Sussex. East and West Sussex. Of course, Winchester, Oxford, of course. What's so funny is, of course, you know, in the northeast United States, we have New England. So it's funny looking at a map of the UK, a map of England, and just saying like, oh yeah, we got one of those up north. It's like, you know, it's like my mother is from Hartford, Connecticut, and we got a fucking Hartford, England. You got a Worcester, which is weird because I'm from there, but the Massachusetts version, you got a Cambridge. We got a Cambridge. You got all the things. We got all the same things. You got fucking Derbyshire. You got too many shires. You got to calm down with the fucking shires, or else we'll exile you all to the Isle of Man. You got to calm down. I don't know. I've seen the UK from history books, and I know that there's the Scotland and there's all the other places too. I want to go. One day I will go. Mark my fucking words. I'll go to England one day because I need to fly in for a cruise out of Southampton. So one day I will go to England, and then I'll see your tacky Ferris wheel that we have a sister. I always think about that. They have the giant Ferris wheel in Orlando, Florida here. I drive past it like every fucking day, going up and down I-4, and the same company that built the one in London is the company that built the one here in Orlando, and apparently they're pretty similar in scale and size. And so I always think about that. I'm just like, it's so weird that we have this ugly mechanical Ferris wheel eyesore thing in the middle of Orlando, and then in the UK or in England, in London, they got some ugly similar thing going on. It's just like this. It's like a cyst. It's like a tumor. It's like someone fucking cut this thing out and get it out of here. It's so gross looking. So I always think about that when I see that in Orlando, which is kind of fitting because Orlando has quite a large British population. You know what's weird? Can I just say this as a side note? Xbox Michael. When I first moved to Florida, I was told there are a lot of British people in Florida. And there were. I swear to God, the first year I lived here, I felt like I heard British English all the time. So many Brits. I lived in a very touristy area the first few years I lived here, where a lot of vacation homes existed. And I heard the British accents all the time. I saw so many of my neighbors. I would go down to the grocery store and just casually hear people speaking British English. And like to the point where my local grocery store had like a much expanded international aisle that was just chock full of UK import foods and like, you know, like dry goods and things like that, to you know, to accommodate the large population of British people we have here, so they can get their fucking Aero bars and whatever else the fuck you guys need. And I don't know what the fuck happened, but COVID took place. And I feel like I haven't seen a British person in Florida in like 3 years. Where did you guys go? Did you all, did COVID kill you all? Or did all the fucking Republicans from up north that came down here during the pandemic because we were quote unquote free, did they kill you guys? Did they scare you out? Like, what the fuck happened to all the British people in Florida? I know I'm not crazy. And like, listen, my job takes me all over the greater Orlando area. So like, I spent extensive time in Orlando proper, the city, lots of the suburbs around, the Kissimmee area, the northern part, like closer to Sanford, even all the way out to Daytona. Like, I've been all over the Orlando and the greater Orlando area. And it's like, I swear to God, the past few years, you fucking British people, you've dried up like a prune. Like, you're gone. You're missing. It's very weird. We moved into this neighborhood. It's a brand new development. You know, all the houses are new. Everyone's moved in here within the past 2 years. And when we moved in last year, I was like, oh man, I feel like I don't have any British neighbors here. And then one day, my girlfriend and I were going for a walk, and the only friendly neighbor in our entire fucking neighborhood, because everyone here's so afraid to communicate and say hi to their neighbors. But one day we were on a walk, and we walked past, of course it was the prettiest house in the neighborhood, the biggest, prettiest house in the neighborhood. And there's this middle-aged woman and her teenage daughter, and they're out in the yard, and the mother's gardening, and the daughter is like speaking with her mother while holding onto her iPhone. And I walk past, and I'm like, oh, look, a neighbor's outside, not hiding indoors. That's interesting. And then before I could even say anything or think to say something, the woman stops what she's doing. She looks at me and my girlfriend. She's like, oh, hello, good afternoon. How are you? And I'm like, oh my God. I was like, oh, hey, how are you? Have a nice day. Whatever, you know, wave pleasantries, neighbor. And I was like, wow, what a nice lady. I was like, holy shit. We have a British neighbor. She lives like a couple streets over from us. But I was like, holy fuck, we have a British neighbor. And I feel like since that day where I was like, I feel like I haven't seen a British person in a long time, that was it. It was like I saw her, and then probably when I got further down the street, she pulled out an umbrella, held her daughter in her arms, and then they held the umbrella up and floated back to fucking London or wherever the hell they're from. And that was it. I never saw another British person again. So I'm wondering what happened to all my British people. You know, everyone always says, oh, move to Orlando, Florida. It's just a bunch of tourists and Brazilians and people from London, or from England, English people, Englishmen, if you will, fish and chip chaps. And y'all are I still see the Brazilians, but like all my friends from the UK, where'd you go? Where'd you go? And dude, just side note, like I don't understand. I don't know what happened. Like Florida, I feel like Florida it became so local lately. Like I when I used to come to Florida all the time on vacation, like you hear French, you'd hear German, you'd hear Italian, you see lots of Chinese people, Japanese people, Korean people. People come from all corners of like the developed world to check out Disney World and Universal and all the attractions and the beaches and all the tourism we have here. And I never hear any of it anymore. I feel like all the European and Asian travelers we used to have, that I used to notice all the time when I was a tourist and in my early years living here, they're just poof, they're all gone. I don't know. And now it's just all the creepy Orlando. And you don't like the Florida locals. Let me tell you a fun fact about Florida, and then I swear we'll get back to the Xbox podcast. You're going to hear a misconception if you ever go to Florida. People complain about the tourists for everything. Oh, the tourists make the traffic bad. Oh, the tourists are the reason why nothing's stocked on the shelves when you go to the grocery store. Oh, the tourists are the reason why the housing prices are so expensive. Oh, the tourists, let me tell you something. The tourists are the best fucking part of Orlando. I love the tourists. The tourists are the people who come here and they have a smile on their face and they actually want to be here. They're the people that come here and they have a good time, and you can have a good time with them, and you can run into a stranger and exchange pleasantries and say, have a great day, and you have fun. And the tourists are the ones making the economy here actually fucking operate and propel forward, because they're the only ones bringing any money into this motherfucking state. I love the tourists. Tourists are awesome. The worst people in Florida are the locals. No one is worse than a local. Once you live in Florida for like 2 years, you suddenly become a piece of shit. You become insufferable. You complain about everything. You complain about everyone. Everything sucks. Locals are the worst. They blame everyone but themselves for everything. I'm here to tell you confidently, as someone who had to commute a lot during a global pandemic, I promise you it wasn't the tourists who were stuck in their home countries. The locals are the problem. They're the reason the traffic's bad. They're the reason everyone here has a chip on their shoulder. And New Yorkers. But anyway, I'm not going to single anyone out. It's just in general, the locals here, they're the fucking problem. Shout out to the British friends and the Brazilian guests and everyone we got here. You guys are awesome. And then all the fucking missing Frenchmen and Germans and shit we used to have coming over. I don't know where you all went, but I don't hear you anymore when I go to Disney. I only ever hear English and Spanish. I feel like all the other cultures and languages I used to experience living in Florida have just fucking poofed, disappeared. I don't even know what I'm talking about. It's just a weird observation. I haven't been able to get over that lately. I'm just like, what happened? How did you all just die? Like, what happened? Is this because egg prices are high? Well, that's going to be fixed pretty. I had a guy tell me that recently at work. I made a joke, and then he goes, well, I wouldn't worry about grocery prices for too much longer. I was like, all right, fuck you, dude. Just leave me alone. Michael asked a question. He talked about video games. Michael, I don't play Rainbow Six Siege. I've never played Rainbow Six Siege. I always thought I was going to give it a try, and I never did. No, never played Rainbow Six Siege. From what I understand, there's no reason for me to ever play Rainbow Six Siege because it's apparently really sweaty, and there's a skill gap, and I cannot play a game that requires skill. So it's never going to happen. Do I appreciate Rainbow Six Siege? Do I think it looks like a fun game? And I've seen clips where I'm like, damn, that's cool. That looks fun. Oh yeah, game looks awesome. I'm never going to play it though. But I'm glad you like it. There's no more skill left. At this age, at 30, I've atrophied. I can barely keep up in Call of Duty. What the fuck am I going to do in Rainbow Six Siege? Scream? No, I got traffic for that. Anyway. But I'm glad you love it. And going back as comfort food to your Game Boy to play Pokemon Leaf Green, of course, that's such a classic. I had never played Leaf Green or Fire Red. I remember very distinctly when they came out. I was like, I still have Pokemon Blue and Yellow on my Game Boy. I don't really need a Leaf Green, because you're a kid, you have like no fucking money. It's like, if I had money, I wouldn't spend it on a remake of a game I already have. I would buy a new game. And I remember finally getting money around the time Pokemon Leaf Green and Fire Red came out, and I bought Metroid Fusion because that was the Game Boy game I wanted to play at the time, and I fucking love Metroid Fusion. It's one of my favorite Metroid games to this day. But yeah, dude, Game Boy Advance SP, what a classic. That's why I use the Samsung Galaxy Z Flip as my daily phone, because I so desperately wish my Game Boy SP was a phone. I don't fucking know what I'm saying, but every time I pull this phone out, people call it a Game Boy SP. Yeah, man, I love that. Thanks for writing in with that. I love people writing in with their comfort food games. I think Cronky wrote in with one. I just think I forgot to mention it here. Sorry, Cronky. But Michael, thank you for writing in. I hope you have a great week. Take care of yourself all the way out there in Kent, England, the Garden of England, the Garden of Shit. I love that. Nothing more universal than just fucking hating where you're from. Arctic Chief writes in, and if you don't know Arctic Chief, then you can go to hell, because Arctic Chief is one of our most beloved commenters. We love him because he has a great sense of humor, and I don't know if you know this, but he spent the better part of his 20s volunteering in impoverished parts of Ethiopia and the Philippines, giving his time, his youth, to helping disprivileged children, malnourished children. I don't fucking know. Arctic Chief writes in and says, I'm a little disappointed about the cancellation of the Transformers game. However, nothing will ever beat Activision's fall of Cybertron for the Xbox 360. Drive-by question, Scratch. How do you feel about crossovers / multiverse? Love it. Arctic Chief, I'm glad you're disappointed too, not because I want you to be sad or let down, but because we can commiserate together. Just feels a little better to know I'm not alone. But how do I feel about crossovers and multiverse? For the most part, I try not to care. I don't know. What counts as a crossover multiverse? All right, let's say crossovers. Obviously, when you think of crossovers, the first thing that comes to mind these days is Fortnite. And from that perspective, Nicki Minaj and Call of Duty, I want to blow my brains out, quite simply, quite honestly. But obviously, crossovers don't have to be awful. I mean, like, everyone loves Super Smash Bros., a game that is just a crossover porn celebration of Nintendo and adjacent IP, and everyone loves Smash Bros. So crossovers can be great. I don't think they have to be bad. I feel like it's become a crutch. It's become, it's like anything. It's like Hollywood sees something that's successful and says, now we can imitate that because this studio did it. So it's like, is it a little tired? Yeah. But I don't hate it in premise. I just hate the most prominent examples of what crossovers can be. I mean, it's like, I don't know, can I just play Spyro the Dragon without like Jared Fogle from Subway commercials like just popping up? Like, can we just let things be siloed sometimes? I mean, human segregation is wrong, but I think IP segregation is a good thing, and I'm a huge fan of segregating your IP. Crash Bandicoot did one time crossover with Spyro the Dragon, Crash Bandicoot and Spyro the Dragon. And I thought that was a pretty good crossover. But contrary, in the Archie comic series, there was a time where Sonic the Hedgehog crossovered with Mega Man. That was probably in like the early 2010s. And that was a crossover that I think didn't need to happen. So there are good examples and bad examples, but I'm generally speaking a pretty big fan of segregation as long as it's not for people, but for IP. So bring back IP segregation. That's my stance on that. Now, as for multiverses, I don't hate multiverses nearly as much as I feel like most people do. Marvel going in, I know everyone, it always starts with Marvel, right? Marvel leaning really heavily into the multiverse thing doesn't piss me off in the least. It's like, I always get confused when people are like, they should have just ended it after Endgame. It's like, okay, I get what you're saying. Like, it would have been a satisfying and natural conclusion for the narrative, but it's like, do you understand that like that's not how comic books work? It's like Spider-Man ended, but there's a million versions of Spider-Man, and why would you just stop making this thing that has seemingly unlimited demand? So it's like, why would you stop making Marvel movies when Endgame was like the most successful movie of all time? It's like, of course your natural instinct is to fucking keep the gravy train rolling. So I don't see people's obsession with hating on that, because to me, I feel like comic books, like DC and Marvel comics, are the most prime examples of like where multiverses kind of began and are most normalized and welcome and kind of to be expected. And so for I don't know, for like a DC movie or a Marvel movie to be like, oh yeah, here's this version of Batman, here's this version of Iron Man, here's this version of Tony Stark actually being Doctor Doom instead of Iron Man. It's like, yeah, you can get jaded about it and bitch about this potential thing about it, or how this is lazy or that's lazy. But it's like, at the end of the day, it's just kind of playing into what comics have always been, which is like, I don't know. I think of comic books like playing with action figures. It's like one day you set them up and you're like, all right, today we're going to play with Transformers and G.I. Joe and Wolverine, and this is what the story's going to be. And you make a goofy, silly story and you have fun. And then you're like, okay, tomorrow it's a completely different thing. And now it's Barbie. It's my sister's Barbie doll and my G.I. Joe versus Optimus Prime. It's like, whatever, it's like, why the fuck not? And that's kind of what comics are. It's like you just pick up random arcs where it intrigues you and where you're into it. You read it, you have a good time, and you can keep going, or you can stop, or you can jump 15 years into the future and read this comic arc or this version of that, or this version of Hulk and that version of Spider-Man. It's like, why the fuck not? And I feel like that's really where the Marvel movies are headed, where it's like, you don't have to give a shit about everything in the MCU. Obviously, they'd like for that to be the case, but like, feel free to tap out when you want and tap back in when you want. Obviously, a lot of people came back for Wolverine and Deadpool, and a lot of people have been otherwise kind of absent for a while, but it's like, that's totally fine. Just come in when you want. Like, the nice thing about all this Marvel shit is, for the most part, you don't need a lot of context. I know people like to overreact about how much context you need, but it's like, you realize it's like, if you watch the Avengers movies without watching all the individual MCU movies that run up to it, it's like, you're still pretty much going to understand the Avengers movies. You're not going to have as big a payoff because you don't understand all the little details, but you can just kind of watch or read or experience whatever in whatever order, however you see fit, and have a good time, because that's kind of how this shit is designed. And I like that the MCU is getting real fun and real loose and real goofy with it in that way, where it's like, dude, at the end of the day, we're talking about grown men in front of CGI green screens in tight suits. It's like, just have some fucking fun. Let it be what it is, So personally, I'm all for it. I like the idea of this Transformers G.I. Joe crossover that they're teasing that may or may not happen because of how bad that last Transformers movie did. But like, I don't personally have an issue with multiverses and crossovers, just as long as they're like, I don't know, if they're like in the spirit of fun and they're not completely vapid, you know? It's just it is so easy for it to go from being like, let's have fun to let's make money. And I just feel like that's my issue with crossovers and multiverses, is it's usually a bad faith decision and not like a let's have fun decision. So whatever. Teach their own. I mean, sometimes they're good, sometimes they're bad. But Arctic Chief, write in next week and let me know on a map where in England are you from, Arctic Chief? The Arctic? Does England own the Arctic? Probably. Way of the Lao writes in, you guys, he's back. He says, Jesse, I'm sorry, man. Things have been rough. I don't have as much time as I used to in life. Life has gotten hard at the moment. I'm trying to get a job in IT while going to school and paying bills like an adult. And I have a gas station job. I'm a Amazon Flex. I read FedEx for some reason because I saw FEX. Amazon Flex every day that I can, so I can pay bills and survive. It's hard, and I had more time, and I had one job and wasn't going to school as much. I would totally be here messaging you every week. Hell, I'm not even a huge Xbox guy, but I tell you what, every time they come out with a new console, I will own one. Give Cronky all my best. Oh, and by the way, I listen to the whole podcast more often than you think. I just can't get into I can't get into it when you start going off on the side of your weighing. Well, Way of the Lao, thank you for writing in. I do just want to say again, it's like, I don't know if I'm like, just like subtly or unknowingly like guilt tripping some of you guys, but like the way some of you write in with like the whole like, I'm sorry I've been absent, I'm sorry it's been a while, I promise I'm still here. It's like, calm down. First of all, like, let's just make this clear. Calm down. I am owed nothing from anyone in this audience. You do not have to explain yourself if you disappear for 3 years and come back, or if you just disappear and never come back, of which there are many of you. Sarugi, I'm still thinking of you. That's fucking fine. You owe me nothing. I'm entitled to nothing. Just the fact that any of you have ever been a part of this podcast at all is a great honor, and I appreciate you very much. And as a very busy adult with very little free time and who desperately wishes I could sleep a little more and have a little more time to do and see the things I'd like to do and see, I totally get it. You don't have to explain it. I do want to say congrats to you, Way Lao. That's a lot you're doing. Working 2 jobs, going to school, trying to build out the life for yourself you want to live. I know you said in additional comments that you're working on the CompTIA certifications, which shout out to you. I did those a couple of years ago. Didn't take the exam. I studied everything. Didn't take the exam. But yeah, it's just not easy. It's a lot of stuff. It's a lot of information. It's a lot you're doing. It's a lot you have on your plate. And the only thing I want to say to you is, man, like go easy on yourself. I really respect the hell out of what you're doing, the grind, trying to like build a life for yourself that you want to have. And I think that's phenomenal. But also, don't go too hard on yourself, Mr. Lau, because we love you. We want to have you around, not as we want to have you writing in on the podcast necessarily every week. That's fine if you want to do that. But you know, the world needs you. You're a good guy. I've always appreciated you and enjoyed having you around. And I just I want to make sure you take care of yourself. Give yourself rest. Take care of your brain. Relax. Get away. You gotta balance things out in life. So awesome. Good luck to you. Good luck in everything you're doing. Be sure to take it slow and go easy on yourself. But it is good to hear from you. It's good to see you. I will give Cronky your best. I'll say, here, Cronky, here's Mr. Lau's best. Then I'll have to fucking find a box to put it in and ship it to him. And then he'll open a box and he'll be like, that's Way of the Lau's best. And I'll write into you and I'll say I gave it to him, just like you asked. So anyway, appreciate you, Mr. Lau. You have a wonderful week. And let me know your chicken rankings if you'd like. I wonder, you're on the road, you're out there, you're a busy student, you don't have time to cook, you're studying, you're working. I'm sure you end up in a lot of drive-thrus. Let me know. How's it going? Raising Cane's versus Zaxby's, where you fall on the matter. All right, our last comment, but not our least comment, or it's just a sexy man with the ability to type weller than I can, writes in. His name is Mr. Sam Frito, not to be mistaken with Ram Cheeto, which is the offspring of the father of the Cheeto Company and the mother of the Dodge Ram Company. And Sam Frito writes in and says, great show. Glad you beat Batman Arkham Origins. I think of all the Batman games, it has a great motivating factor. Dudes are always coming at Batman with a lot less knowledge about the skills, except Deathstroke. One eye makes you more than smarter and lethal. It feels like a mission for Batman. Love the game. Now on to chicken. Yeah, dude, that game was great. That side note, that Deathstroke boss fight, pretty fucking sick. Now on to chicken. Our world is turning into a full vision of a Dr. Seuss chicken death camp with business recklessly coming to Orlando, and most of them feature chicken. If chicken goes extinct, we are so screwed. Amen. A KFC venture just opened up close to me, and we had to try it. You're talking about that saucy place, right? Because my wife believes TikTok doesn't lie. Well, rest in peace, TikTok. Saucy is so WNGB, which means we're never going back without coupons. My de facto chicken tenders, as I've professed, is Dave's Hot Chicken. They could be serving buttered human testicles, but it is so well seasoned that you will swear it's the tastiest. Go medium hot. Hot will be an evening to remember, and extra hot is Earth's death row equivalent to I hate my insides. Probably a great origin story for a Batman villain. Hot chicken fries someone's brains and they attack Gotham and open multiple locations of a Guy Fieri chicken shack. You said shank, but I think you mean shack. Thanks for a great show again. Happy New Year. Always love Sam Frito. He's even more creative with his non sequiturs than I am, and I just admire the hell out of you for it. This is a great one. Dave's Hot Chicken. I have tried this. I have been to Dave's Hot Chicken. This is one that, to my understanding, Dave's Hot Chicken is blowing up all over the country. This is like the chicken version of like Crumble Cookie, from my knowledge. So Dave's Hot Chicken is different. I don't necessarily put it in the same camp as like a Slim Chickens, PDQ, Raising Cane's, Zaxby's type of thing, because their thing isn't, to my knowledge, Dave's Hot Chicken, their thing isn't like chicken tenders with that signature dipping sauce and like French fries. Their thing is like classic like hot chicken with the sauces and the I don't know, I guess in some ways it's kind of similar. I feel like this is kind of an adjacent concept though. This is more like a southern hot chicken type thing with, you know, they give you the pickle and all that, and they serve it on the piece of toast. You know, they put the chicken on the toast, not toast on the side. So I feel like this is technically different, but I'll allow it just because I have been to Dave's Hot Chicken. Excuse me. We don't have one where I live. I know there's one in like Oviedo. That's the one I went to. I think there's a couple others, but I don't have one anywhere near me, or else I feel like I would have been more than once. But I actually really, really like Dave's Hot Chicken. This is I think you know, it's not amazing. It's not something I'm going to go out of my way to go to, but I think it more or less lives up to the hype. It looks like there's one in like Longwood, Lake Mary area or something like that. There's one in, of course, probably like, what is that? North of Winter Park. Where is that? I don't know. Who gives a shit? And then, yeah, there's the one in Oviedo. Yeah, there's three of them, but they're all very far away. I live way closer to the Disney side of things, and that's all we got out there is Texas Roadhouse and fucking condemned motels that haven't been relevant since the 2000s. But anyway, yeah, dude, Dave's Hot Chicken, I think I got medium when I went there. I definitely didn't get anything too spicy, but I remember being impressed, and I remember the line was long, and I remember there were a lot of people there, and I thought, wow, Dave's Chicken must be really good. And then I ate it, and I said, hey, Dave's Chicken's pretty good. So that was my memory. That was probably 2 or 3 years ago at this point. But thank you for bringing it up. Thank you for representing that saucy place. I've seen some videos of it. The KFC has like their own knockoff of Cane's, Raising Cane's, and I've heard it's horrible. I've seen a couple of like TikToks and YouTube shorts and stuff about it, and I looked up the reviews on Google Maps, and it looks like overwhelmingly people are like, this place sucks, don't come here, don't eat here. So I'll probably still go there one day when it's less popular, like once the hype has died down. But for now, I'm good for now. Sam Frito, thank you for writing in. Thank you everyone for writing in. That's going to do it for the Xbox On podcast. I'm going to make a hard out here because I got a lot of editing to do before I go to bed. So thank you all so much for listening to the podcast. Remember, next week we will go live on Friday to accommodate the Xbox January Developer Direct. So the show will be a day later than usual, but still same time, 9 a.m. Eastern time. Thank you all so much for all you do. Take care of yourselves. Make sure you have some time to take breaks, get proper rest, try to eat healthy. I'm trying to be a little healthy again. I'm doing the calorie counting again. The past 3 days, I felt consistently very hungry and also a little bit better on the energy level. Does it feel like I have more energy this podcast? I've been not overeating. That's my big thing. I feel like I'm okay with like the healthiness. You know, I'm a big fan of cooking at home. I eat most of my meals at home. We cook a lot at home. I eat lots of vegetables. I'm very much like a chicken, turkey, lean meat kind of guy, fish, shrimp, that kind of thing. I'm very healthy in that regard, but my problem is portion control. I fucking can't with the portion control. I'm like, you know, I see leftovers and I go, no, I'm not doing dishes for Tupperware. We're fucking eating all this shit right now. And that's my problem. But I'm doing the calorie counting a little bit, which is helping with the portion control. And the past few days, I just feel a little better. So just a little reminder from me now that I'm going through it. Take care of yourselves. Don't overeat, but do eat and eat well and sleep and play video games and find time to relax. Make time for the things that make you happy, because there's no point in doing anything if you're not enjoying your life a little bit at least. And until next week, power your dreams.